Just another victory for our Browns as they keep rolling. Tony Camino every week breaks down film reviews. Check it out on BelieveInLand.com or check it out on YouTube. We have all the games, win or lose. We're here to break down our film. I should say Tony's here. I'm not here. I'm just here to help punch up things. All right. This first play set up, I thought, the tone of the game for the first half, and I thought was very important. This guy, Myles Garrett's pretty good, Tony.
Yeah, it's every week he shows up. He's getting a sack every week, and he's showing up on the film breakdowns. And honestly, this one I didn't even choose to bring up because of really the result of the play, more because of the evolution of the defense. So as you can see here, this is first play of the game on defense. The cornerbacks outside of, I think that's Emerson at the top, are all walked down over their man, and that's a huge indicator of man coverage. Like Kenny's looking over, Pickett's looking at those guys, and he's seeing that. He sees man coverage. And they're blitzing Delpit off the edge. But what they end up doing is a cover 3 fire zone blitz. So it's 3 deep, 3 under. They're bringing 5 guys. And so Pickett immediately sees that look of the cornerbacks walk down. He's thinking man, because the Browns are a man-heavy team. They don't get that. You see Denzel and Emerson quickly bailing back. They're not covering those receivers one-on-one. They're playing a deep zone. And so that immediately confuses the quarterback and makes him think for an extra second, 2 seconds longer, because that's not where you want it. And obviously the blitz from the edge from Delpit allows Myles, who Freiermuth kind of just doubled Myles and then didn't slide over to pick up Delpit. So Delpit came in free. Najee already determined he was going to pick up Delpit in the pass rush, and Myles against a tackle one-on-one, he's going to make the play every time. And so that confusion on the back end mixed with a great time blitz and Myles Garrett winning should have been a safety to start the game, and like you said, really set the tone. But to see them be able to run their zone coverage out of their man looks and their man coverage out of their zone looks is really the next step to this defense being unbeatable.
Well, in this league, sometimes it's not big adjustments, it's slight adjustments. All that took was a slight adjustment. And you know what? Against a quarterback like Pickett, you can do that because he's just not, let's just be honest, he's not as good. Tony, that's a very, very smart play in that game. And what also helps in these circumstances is, you have someone like Delpit, slight tweak. You say, you know what? We're going to let him attack the quarterback there. He did, and that's all it needed on that play. It's it. It's all he needed on that play.
It's really good to see things like that going forward, because the Browns really right now are line up and play it, which when you can do it like that and run it, you're really hard to beat. But sometimes, like we saw in the Colts game, when you just line up and play man and they can determine that pre-snap, you're going to get guys schemed open, and it's going to be a lot harder to get stops.
It really is. The other thing, too, real quickly, when you're playing a team like the Browns, it makes it very hard when you're not one-dimensional. The Browns aren't even really two-dimensional. They're kind of more 4 or 5-dimensional because Delpit's having a very good year. But you can't just focus on Delpit because you got to focus on Myles Garrett. You got to focus on Zadarius Smith, Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson, who finally had bad weeks. Not going to have 2 bad weeks back-to-back. That's what multiple defenders do when they're all playing well. It's Captain Obvious what needs to be said. That's such a huge advantage. Disguise. What happens here, Tony?
Same sort of basis as that last play. It was really the biggest point of this entire game. Outside of Obo Okoronkwo had an amazing game after having his kid. Didn't get to point that out. But we're having another very similar look. Look at all the cornerbacks, all 3 of them right over the man. That's a huge indication of man coverage. And they do a little bit of a different version of the fire zone here. Myles and Okoronkwo drop out, so instead of rushing the passer, and that's not something you really game plan for. We've done it with Myles a couple times, so I'm sure OCs are going to start to kind of pick up on that, but you're worried about him rushing the passer. We end up still blitzing 5, 3 under, 3 deep, but Pickett thought that his hot receiver was going to be to his left because the pre-snap indication was man coverage with the overload blitz coming from that side. It probably would have been better to try to go to his tight end here, but the looks of confusing him made that tough. And with the pressure in his face, even if this throw is thrown inaccurately, so it falls incomplete, even if it's completed or thrown accurately, Newsome's either jumping that for a pick, laying out the receiver, or catch tackle right at the first down marker. So it's just this continued stuff of when we are showing what we're not playing and we're really getting to disguise things, that's been the best evolution in the Schwartz defense we've seen this year. It's something that takes time because it's not easy to do. But if they can consistently line up and play what they want to play, but then also rotate to what they want to play by showing something else, it's going to be a nightmare for quarterbacks and coordinators to scheme against us.
It is. It's very, very hard. And what makes it even harder in this situation is the Steelers aren't an aggressive team right now. So when you're not aggressive, it really allows an aggressive defense to get more aggressive. It's again, it sounds Captain Obvious, but we don't always think that way. We always think about offenses being aggressive. Defenses can be aggressive. The Browns were ultra aggressive in this game. And I'll give one more example. Those last 2 series against the Steelers, because they knew what the struggles were, they just said, let it rip, guys. Like, let it rip. There were several passes where Pickett, it wasn't even in his area code. Like, he was just throwing it away. That's how well it was in this game at times. This is called QB pin pull. Explain.
Yep. So pin pull, it's been one of the staples of the Stefanski run game. We don't usually do it with a quarterback. It's that in wide zone. But right here, so you're seeing Njoku and usually that tackle are pinning down on these guys while your center and guard pull out and act as lead blockers. Njoku's got the hardest job on this play. Pinning TJ Watt is it's like the hardest thing to do, especially because he's played against a lot of Kevin Stefanski offenses. He can kind of feel when a pin pull is coming. And so, to no surprise, he beats that pin. But the 2 pullers do a great job. Batonio recognizes that immediately that, okay, he's beaten. If we let Watt get into this backfield, like the whole play is blown up. And this is 3rd and 5. Batonio does a great job picking up TJ as he beats Njoku to make sure we really take care of him. But then a really good job from Njoku as he recognizes he's beat, and instead of just like sitting out on the play and being done, you see him turn and go find work, which is really essential to this play potentially going for a touchdown. And you will now see Posick and Njoku are going to double team on that guy while Batonio drives Watt out of the way. And this goes for a first down. And honestly, if Posick can do a slightly better job feeling that Njoku's got the blocker they're both engaged on, and he can climb to that next level, that safety all the way back there, you could see on the next picture that in this one, there was a lane for days. And it didn't end up mattering right here. If he could end up climbing to that guy, there's a lane for days. And I understand why he doesn't, because it's 3rd and 5. You don't want to if that guy beats and slips through Njoku, you're stopping the play. You want to convert it. So I understand where he's coming from, but really a nice wrinkle that we kind of all expected. We got a fast quarterback, got to use his legs. And they did this play twice on 3rd down, and it worked both times. I expect more read option and stuff like that where he can incorporate that on their normal run plays, but just something nice to see and something that should be a part of the offense going forward.
Playing to your strengths. Yeah, your offensive line dictate what you can do. You have a quarterback who's young, who can run, he's athletic, let him run. Honestly, Tony, sometimes that's just what you have to do. This is called let it rip.
Yep. This is something we're going to want to let it rip in future weeks. This wasn't even part of the game plan here, but so we're seeing it's really just a quick 1-2 read for DTR. He's looking at Njoku on the spot route, or you're getting Tillman working out as a blocker for like a swing screen pass. It's quick 1-2. If Njoku's not there, you hit the swing. If Njoku is there, you get it to him. What ends up happening, which obviously this is the game plan because TJ Watt was destroying James Hudson consistently all game. He was destroying him. Exactly why they needed to get the ball out quickly to take out the 2 DNs. So it was a good read from DTR where then the pressure from TJ kind of forced the ball out to this first read. He didn't even really have a chance to get to that second read, but it's a good enough play. It got us a nice chunk. You could see Tillman's out there as the blocker. Kareem probably has a lot of room if he can work to it, but TJ is already in his lap on his first read. What we need to do in the future, which I don't blame DTR for not doing it here because it probably wasn't even that route from Elijah Moore is wide open. Now, I'm assuming that that's probably game planned as simply just a runoff. He wasn't even an option to throw it in this play because that wasn't ever the game plan when DeWand wasn't in to sit back and let it go. But we see that there's guys getting open downfield. We just didn't even take the shots because we didn't want to let the pass rush for the Steelers win them the game. And that's the right move. But in the future, specifically this week, when we get DeWand back fully healthy, let DTR stand in the pocket and throw those balls downfield because they're there.
Again, matchups. It was not the right day to throw the matchup in that situation. And frankly, DTR, it's baby steps for me. People don't remember. Watch these young quarterbacks. Let's go Brock Purdy last year. Brock Purdy had games like this where it's just like simple, not quite there yet. Happens. It just happens.
Yep.
He will get there. I think he'll get there. Just takes a little bit of time. Definitely the schemes are there. This, Tony, is what? What are we watching to recap this show?
So if you really want to feel good about DTR going forward, go look at the last drive of each half and how cool, calm, and collected he was, because he thrived in the 2-minute drills. This is early on the last drive to win the game, 1st and 10, and we just go in deep curls everywhere. And it's a good play call against cover 3, which is what the Steelers end up playing, because you're going to just all sit down in the soft spots of the coverage. DTR, with his best throw of the day, easily anticipates Elijah Moore. We went to this earlier, I think the drive before, exact same play, exact same coverage, and they got it to him, but it was like 3rd and 15, so they didn't convert. DTR, as you see, he separates the hands and goes to throw. Elijah Moore's going to finish this route at the 50. He's not even close to being done with that route yet. Knows he has to throw it early to get it in there, and he puts it on time, on target, and really does a good job with probably their only downfield completion all day, which, to no surprise, came with DeJuan Jones in the game. So something that's a positive going forward. When DeJuan's in the game and they can protect a little bit, they are going to take these shots. And DTR, last drive of the game, and he showed up when it mattered. That was a really impressive throw and a nice drive.
The Myles Garrett sack set the tone on the defensive drive. That throw to Elijah Moore set the tone. As soon as you get to the 50 and it's a game-winning field goal opportunity, you can start smelling it in the NFL. And it really allowed the Browns to take a breath, be like, I think we can do this. You can tell. As soon as they got to the 50, it's like, maybe we got this. Maybe we can figure this out, and they were able to. That was a big throw in that situation. Check out Tony's article on BelieveInTheLand.com. When you get sick of mom and dad, you need a break. You've had too many cranberries. Go to Believe in the Land on YouTube. Watch it all day. It goes good with wine or any soda beverage. We'll be here all week taking you through the drumsticks of the world. And what a great victory. And as Tony pointed out, you see here matchups and opportunities. The Browns are finally doing things. That's why I love it. That game by Stefanski was so great. Let's just take what they can give us, and then we'll just figure it out. Because of that, they beat the Steelers. The Steelers played really well on defense. They really did. But that one opportunity to Elijah Moore, he hit it. And he hit it really, really well. Check out Tony's work all week. Have a great Thanksgiving. Again, we'll be here for Broncos Browns on Sunday.